Hoops, last night, the last couple of nights, we spoke about Mitchell Moses. We spoke about the rumours and speculation that he is unhappy or his management's unhappy or both, and he is getting restless or someone is and making some noise. Have we heard any more on this overnight?
Braith, it's only an opinion, right? But it is all over rugby league at the moment. Everybody is talking about it. I think if Mitchell Moses hasn't already asked Parramatta for a release, I think he does in the very near future. It's a problem for the new incoming coach, Jason Riles. His agent is his cousin, Isaac Moses. Quite a colourful identity in the game, has had some time out of the game, been suspended. That is accreditation disqualified a couple of times. He also looks after Blaze Talagi. We saw what happened with him last week. He's gone to Penrith. I think, and again, it's only my opinion, all roads lead to the Sydney Roosters. Nick Politis is the best deal maker in the business, in my view. You look at Cooper Cronk, you look at Sonny Bill Williams, you can go back to Gus and Freddie if you want to go back into the 90s. If Uncle Nick wants to get a deal done, he can. I'm not saying they've spoken. I'm not saying anybody's done anything outside of the rules, but I'm reading the tea leaves. I'm speaking to players. Everyone's talking about it.
So the main thing here, though, Hoops, is that is he frustrated and is he looking elsewhere?
He's 29 at the moment, Braith. He turns 30 in September.
But it's not rumours, is it?
But he's not. It's not rumours.
It's not rumours. That's what I want to get clear here. No. Because last night we spoke.
No, it's not rumours.
It's not rumours.
No, okay. It's not rumours. There's conversations. There's conversations that have taken place.
They're not allowed to have conversations. He's not off contract.
Gordy, you're not allowed to do a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that it doesn't go on. There's a dark arts side of rugby league.
Yep. I get all that, but then how do
we're all naive if we don't believe that.
But then how do the small clubs keep on fighting and get into the top 8 if this keeps on happening to them?
It's a great point.
And they're not in the NRL to be feeder clubs to the top 8.
It's a great point, and you look at last week, Stefano from West Tigers goes and joins Melbourne. Blaze Talagi, best junior at Parramatta at the moment, goes and joins their fierce arch rivals in Panthers. Isaiah Papali'i, West Tigers, that was earlier in the year. It's a great point. It's just the world we live in, Gordon. Like, you blokes played at the elite level. These days in the modern world, players want to win. Like, they really do. And Mitch is 29, he turns 30 in September. His window to win a comp's closing, and I'll tell you this much, he ain't winning one at Parramatta. At the moment, they're in a rebuild. They are in all sorts.
But does anyone think that this just shouldn't be allowed, or am I on a different planet?
No, of course it shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't be allowed.
I don't know, because I mean I said it last night with the Para fans, because I'm just looking at the big picture here. They lose Mitch. Not only their rebuilds, even their holes double the size, and there's no halves out there.
No, but who are they going to buy? Salary cap becomes a farce. Everybody's got a salary cap.
Just on break.
Parramatta's signing for 3 years, and he can agitate.
And they would have let players go too, Gordy.
Absolutely, absolutely, to get him there. Right, and then all of a sudden his manager can go, hey, man,
it's also a club that's shopping players as well. Clubs do it equally as much as players do. Players aren't solely to blame here, right? Like
Braith's point is the pertinent one, Mick. So they've just lost Blaze Talagi.
No doubt.
Ethan Sanders, right?
I'm not saying it's
the next generation has joined.
What's the point of a contract then?
Joined Canberra.
What's the point of a contract?
If you look, there'd be.
This to me is the tip of the iceberg. Like we on this show we identify a lot of weeks about players being restless or uncomfortable. This is the best player at a club who's just re-signed and caused the whole year of drama re-signing to get to that point.
It was in the paper.
But if they get away with this, you can get away with anything. The contracts are just a waste of... They're toilet paper.
Right, to me, contracts have been toilet paper for a long time. And I know that's not the world that we all grew up in, but in the modern world, to me, you see that many backflips, somersaults, twists and turns when it comes to deals these days. There's always an excuse why somebody needs to get out even when they're signed. On Mitchell Moses, he is managed by his cousin Isaac. Now, the stumbling block that I can see with him possibly going to the Sydney Roosters, the only stumbling block, is that Nick Politis, who is one of the most respected and esteemed figures in the game, refuses. He has given Isaac a life. He will not do business with Isaac. That's the only stumbling block, but knowing how shrewd the Roosters can be when they need to be, I would think that if they want to do the deal, they'll find a way.
I don't reckon they'll do it. I reckon they re-sign Walker and Nick won't deal with.
What about both of them?
Hey?
What about both?
Do you think they can keep both?
I'm asking, could
Walker
they possibly have Moses and Walker?
Oh,
well, they've got Tuali going, Manu going. Like
You've got two guys on
$2.5 million out the door.
Two halves and $1 million plus.
I'm just
salary
asking.
cap-wise, they're probably in trouble, right?
And what's Teddy on?
Well, that's right.
Teddy'd be on over $1 million.
Well, you can't.
But he's coming to an end as well, Teddy.
Yeah.
Teddy, I'm glad you raised Teddy, Goody, because Teddy and Mitch are great mates. They used to live together. I think even now they only live 10 minutes apart. They're still very good friends, and from what I'm hearing, I think there's been a couple of conversations.
He'll also be watching this very closely. It'll be Zach Lomax. We saw him on the bye round last night, and he said he's been speaking to Mitch. He's heard the rumours, spoken to Mitch. If Mitch Moses isn't at Parramatta next year, do you think Zach Lomax is racing there?
Well,
it's an indictment
that's
on
another point.
You know.
He wouldn't have signed there.
The contracts are worth something.
It's a domino effect.
The contract's worth something if the club stands on it. Trust me.
Good point. Well, look at Ben Hunt.
Trust me. I said that. Ben Hunt, oh, mate, I want out. They said, well, you can go, but you're not playing anywhere else. But you can go live in Queensland if you want. The club, like, the NRL needs to stand behind the clubs at the moment, especially sides like Parramatta. This manager agitates everybody else. He's ruined the West Tigers. He goes in there, and then, as you've said before, he treats it like a Macca's franchise, and it's not good on the game. And it's not good for the fans. If I'm a Parramatta fan, how do you expect them to buy their season tickets next year when this is happening?
You know, the other joke about this contract is when he signed it, and it was only last year, I remember I was covering the game that night, Penrith played Parramatta. Mitchell kicked the field goal in Golden Point to win the game. It was awesome. They trumpeted it as a 5-year deal. Well, it wasn't a 5-year deal because they put one of those stupid asterisks in it, which I know you're mates with them, in the Fairtingham department, Mick.
Yeah,
it is a laughing stock. Some of the stupid decisions they have made.
I'm not sitting in defending
you can't justify
these options. No, you can maybe get away with one in your top 30. Right, you can't have 3, 4, 5, and then mount and have your 6 and 7.
Not your best players. You have it there for kids.
Great point.
If you're unsure of the value of players, that's where it works out, right? You knew the value of Mitch.
Yes, your marquee players, you know.
You know the value. You know the value.
It's a young kid with incentives.
What are Parramatta going to do here? Are they aware of this?
They've heard the murmurs, of course. You'd have to be sitting under a rock not to hear what's been happening in the last few days.
Jason Rolls know?
But Jason Rolls, and from speaking to people at Parramatta, they haven't heard anything directly at all about this. They're confident that Mitch Moses and Jason Rolls, the conversation that they've had, that they're comfortable with the situation, right?
Sorry.
But we've seen how this is played out.
What happened with Blaze Talagi last week?
He went to Penrith.
Just backtracking a little bit. You know who Mitchell Moses is also good mates with? Luke Brooks.
Yes,
DCE's probably, you know, what's going to... Is he a chance of going back to Manly?
Well, Daly's signed for next year, right? So, in all likelihood, let's say Parramatta do hold firm to Gordon's point, right? And they say, nah, under no uncertain terms over our dead body, we're not giving you a release. Well, he's only signed for next year anyway, and then he's got the option for 26, right? So he can start the agitation. But in relation to Manly...
Well, is
Daly
Brad Arthur a chance of... Is he... Well, he's going to Newcastle, isn't he?
No, I don't think he is now. I think Adam O'Brien would like Brad Arthur to come in as an assistant, but I think Brad's having a good time overseas at Leeds United, and he's starting to turn them into a decent team. I would think he'll be staying over there.
Okay, I just thought maybe Seabold, Arthur, Moses... Brooks in the halves.
Isaac's the interesting one, right? Because a lot of people, a lot of clubs...
Does Isaac...
Like, so Gus at Canterbury, right? Canterbury, you could argue Canterbury... Well, they have money because they were in for Stefano. Canterbury could be an option, but Gus is similar to Ricky Stewart and also Nick Politis. Red pen.
But
if Mitch Moses becomes...
the deal.
If he becomes available...
Yeah.
The Dogs will go in.
Well, let me tell you, let's be honest.
Regardless of the age.
If Moses is going to one club, he's probably going to a few others, right? If that was the case, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is either. But if he's going to one, he's going to a few.